Good morning and welcome to Bingham Group's Big Three. These are the top headlines for Austinites and those interested in our city every Monday and every Friday. And so this morning we're going to start here. Effective Friday, the city of Austin is launching new guidelines to enable events to begin reopening safely. The Austin-Travis County COVID-19 Safety Guide for Venues and Special Events outlines COVID-19 health and safety recommendations for indoor venues and new outdoor special event permit requirements for Austin Center for Events. These guidelines are a starting point for events to begin to happen again and will be updated regularly as health conditions change. I want to read you here a statement from Dr. Mark Escott, who's the Austin-Travis County Interim Health Authority. He said Austin Public Health reviewed key indicators which have been moving in the right direction. We have to stay vigilant in the protection of ourselves and our community. If we see a surge in cases and hospitalizations, we have the flexibility to reconsider the scale of the event, modify the mitigation strategies, or cancel if needed. So since April 2020, the Austin Center for Events, in conjunction with the Austin Public Health, have been working to develop an event reopening strategy which includes COVID-19 health and safety standards. The strategy includes guidelines and permit requirements which create a pathway for special event organizers to obtain permits for their events. So feedback on these guidelines has been incorporated from event industry leaders. And speaking of those guidelines, here they are now. For the indoor guidelines, outline recommendations for venues with permanent occupancy designed to establish a minimum standard for COVID-19 health and safety. For the outdoor guidelines, outline recommendations for outdoor events and venues that require a permit from Austin Center for Events. There's also a new permit requirement. As allowed by City Code Chapter 420, special event applicants will now be required to submit a COVID-19 health and safety plan as part of the special event application through a new online form. All aspects of the application will remain digital. City Manager Spencer Cronk said, "We understand the pandemic has caused incredible economic impacts on venues and special events and affected consumer confidence." He went on to say, releasing these guidelines now indicates cautious optimism for events based on the current COVID-19 health conditions. Special event industry has asked the city for these guidelines and were developed in partnership with city and county public safety agencies, including Austin Public Health and Austin Center for Events, and with Austin's event industry leaders. Event organizers can reference austintexas.gov/event reopening guide for a link to the guidance, review frequently asked questions, and register for virtual office hours to get outstanding questions answered. The Austin City Council convenes tomorrow for their work session and joint COVID-19 briefing with the Travis County Commissioners Court. The council will also meet Thursday for its voting session. At both, we're going to be watching the discussion around the city's proposed framework for President Biden's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan Tuesday. On Thursday, the council will take up, and it's expected to approve Item 111, the Resilient ATX resolution directing the city manager to take actions regarding the development of a spending framework for COVID-19 relief and recovery and American Rescue Plan funding, and directing the city manager to provide an update on the city's fiscal year 2021 budget and projections for fiscal year 2022 revenues. Estimated direct allocation, we're going to put that on your screen right now. You see Austin, Pflugerville, Round Rock, Travis County. Want to know the resolution sponsors include Mayor Steve Adler and council members Catherine Tovo, Greg Cesar, Vanessa Fuentes, and Allison Alter. The other items to watch on Thursday include items 26, 37, and 67. Well, today, City Manager Spencer Cronk will name the interim chief of the Austin Police Department ahead of current chief Brian Manley's retirement later this month. The city council will vote to confirm the interim chief's appointment on Thursday, March 25th. Austin Police Chief Brian Manley announced he was stepping down in February after 30 years with the department. His last day will be on March 28th. This Wednesday, Mayor Pro Temp Natasha Harper Madison and Bingham Group CEO AJ discussed the Austin Council's unanimous vote March 4th to formally apologize for the city's role in perpetuating racist policies that contributed to historical equity, health, and wealth gaps that persist for Black Austinites. The two also discussed the unanimous resolution passed that day directing the city to quantify the impact of systemic racism in real dollars and invest in an effort to build a Black embassy in East Austin, which would serve as a resource center for Black residents. You can check out this episode and prior recordings at bgmediagp.com/BG podcast. There's new episodes every single Wednesday. Thanks so much for listening and watching The Big Three from the Bingham Group. We appreciate your comments, your likes, your reshares. Follow this account for regular updates as well. We're going to see you this Friday afternoon for our next Big Three segment. You have a great Monday.